it's Mo. It is past the middle of April and I have not done my readathon recap yet, so I want to fill you in on all the readathons that I participated in March, maybe some readathons that are new on my radar, in order to just keep this as a record for myself and my channel, and also to talk about all really cool readathons. So in 2023, I started doing these readathon recaps again. I had previously done them and then I kind of fell off, but they are really helpful for me. And I also realized that there are so many amazing readathons and maybe everybody doesn't know about them. I often try to look up a list of all the readathons that go on throughout the year, ones that come and go or ones that come back every year, and it's hard to find. So I thought that these videos would be a good place to talk about all those readathons, and there is a running list in the description box, and what I would suggest is just to pull the name of the readathon from that list and then plug it into the YouTube search box and search those readathons. That way you can find the newest iteration of that readathon if you search by upload date, and you can find videos from all different people as well as its creators, which is helpful if you're coming to this video at a much later date, or if you're coming to this video at a time when that readathon isn't really going on. They are grouped by months so you can get ready for new months. I think there's 2 or 3 readathons that I heard about recently. Old School April is going on, which is to read backlist horror books and kind of 80s and 90s horror and thriller books. That one looked really fun and something that I might participate in next year. It's also the India translated readathon in April, which I had never heard of. I don't know who originated this one because I just heard about it recently, but I did read an Indian translated work this month, so I ended up participating in that in April without even realizing it. But if you want to see my full April readathon recap, you'll have to wait until next month. And now we'll talk about all the readathons that I participated in March. March has so many amazing readathons. One that I didn't get to participate in that I would have liked to is the Welsh Deal-a-thon readathon, which is kind of in conversation with the Irish readathon, which I did participate in March. I read 2 books for the Irish readathon in March, and there were a lot of prompts, but I wasn't able to really fulfill any of the prompts, but I was able to read In the Woods by Tana French. This is the first in the Dublin Murder Squad series, and I was also able to read The Pale Gold of Alaska. I still don't know how to pronounce this author's name, but I really enjoyed this book of short stories, and I'm definitely planning on reading more of her work. It was also the Backlist Readathon, which had some really great prompts, and I usually try to participate in that one because I mostly read backlist books, so I'm sure I did get some of the prompts, and I'm sure I did read books that fit into that readathon, but I didn't read books specifically for that readathon, so I'm gonna mention it, but I'm not gonna talk about the books. The big readathon that I participated in March is, as always, March Mystery Madness, which is put on by a whole slew of hosts, and it's just a wonderful readathon to read as many mysteries as you can. This year there were 4 prompts. There was Messy Mystery, there was a Cop or Detective, Cozy or Classic, and reread an author you've previously read, or reread a book that you've previously read. So I read a lot of books for this readathon. Let's see. For prompt number 1, a messy mystery, I am going to go with The Death of Mrs. Westaway and The Sanatorium. The Sanatorium is the worst book that I've read so far this year, and I think it was a total mess. The Death of Mrs. Westaway was less of a mess, but not a great mystery. Prompt number 2, Cop or Detective. I read 3 that could fit into this one. I read In the Woods by Tana French. Like I said, this is about the Dublin Murder Squad, and this book follows Rob Ryan and his partner Cassie. I read This Is a Bust by Ed Lynn. This follows a police officer solving a crime in the 1976 Chinatown in New York. And I also read It Walks by Night by John Dickinson Carr. This has a police detective in it, although that's not our main character, and it is a closed-door Golden Age mystery. This also counts for the next prompt, which is Cozy or Classic, so I would definitely consider this a classic mystery, a Golden Age mystery. And for Cozy, I would say Murder in Wrigley Field by Crab Evers definitely fits that one. This was a pretty unique baseball cozy mystery that I read. And then for reread or author that you've read before, I can go with Death of Mrs. Westaway because I have read another Ruth Ware previous to this one. Those are the mysteries that I read in March. Since March Mystery Madness is one of my favorite readathons, I always look forward to that one. Editing Mo here to say that I completely forgot to mention that the Sanatorium was my TBR spin book for March, and also I read 2 of my Savidge Prompts books in the month of March. I was falling behind, so for my February prompt, which was a book that was in the Stella Prize, I read The Bass Rock by Evie Wilde. This was a really interesting intergenerational tale about the hardships of women. And the March prompt was a book with your favorite color, and I read The Death of Mrs. Westaway for that one, as well as the other readathons that I read it for. So I'm all caught up on my TBR Spin readathon books. I'm all caught up on my Savidge Prompt readathon books. And now back to the rest of the video. Let me know if you learned about any readathons recently. Let me know if you have anything to add to that list. Always feel free to comment with more readathons. I would love to compile like a huge list and then maybe do at the end of the year like a big video to get you ready for the year to come. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!